Released in 1991 on the Amiga by Core Design, Chuck Rock was a comical side-scrolling platform game. Chuck Rock appeared on many systems, but he first started life here on the Amiga. So how is it? Well, it does have its plus points. Level design for the most part is reasonable for the time. Being a European game of the mid-90s, it's full of cheap attacks, such as having enemies hidden behind foreground objects and leaps of faith. Chuck himself is a pretty likeable character, plus I love his Captain Caveman rip-off Unga Bunga sample. Sadly, the gameplay is a little off. I don't know if it's to do with the animation of Chuck's belly bounce or just down to poor collision detection, but your hits seem to not make contact when the button is pressed. It's as if they go straight through the enemy. To land a solid hit, you have to time it just before you think you should. In a way, it feels laggy, but I know for sure that's not the case. So, Chuck Rock on the Amiga with its 5 worlds split into multiple stages is a nice game, but it could be better. The intro is rather cool though. Chuck Rock was also ported to the Amiga CD32, but I'm not going to show that because it's 100% identical to the Amiga game. It's the exact same game, no differences at all. The first port we're going to take a look at is on the Atari ST, and what a lazy port it is. While it is nice to see the Amiga intro on the ST, it's not so nice to have no audio with it. The next disappointment comes in the form of the title screen. Where's the band gone? Then it's onto the actual game. There's no sound effect options, so there goes Chuck's Unga Bunga, and the music we have isn't very good. The graphics are nice, although the backgrounds have been redrawn, giving the game a much darker look. There's also a lack of some enemies, such as the crapping dino on stage 1. I think the ST could have done better than this, but it seems Core Design didn't think so. Or just couldn't be bothered. Here we go with a port to a system you wouldn't have expected. This is the Acorn Archimedes, a very powerful computer back in its day. As to be expected, this port plays really smoothly and even has a better sounding title theme. Sadly, there doesn't seem to be any in-game music option, but we do get the same sound effects from the Amiga game. To me, the game also looks more colourful than the Amiga original, suggesting Core took advantage of the Archimedes' extended capabilities. Overall, a great port. So we'll take a rest from the computers for now and move on to the consoles, starting with the Mega Drive. Core were always at home on Sega's platforms, so it's nice to see that this is the best version of Chuck Rock so far. Sadly, the intro has gone, which is to be expected on a cartridge game. However, that's not really an issue, because in return, we get a great looking game full of colour and parallax scrolling. We also get some great music and sound effects at the same time, plus a jump button! This makes the game so much easier to play. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics to make the game feel silky smooth. Talking of which, the transition from area to area now is also really smooth. No more loading in new areas. Good stuff. Bunga bunga. Bunga bunga.
Things had never been better for Chuck. A shadowy figure is lurking in the bushes outside. Gadzooks, it's Gary Gritter, the local weirdo in them there bushes.
Unlike the Amiga CD32 port, which is an exact copy of the Amiga original, the Mega CD port is actually a much enhanced game. It features an all-new talky intro, which unfortunately has been censored. You no longer get to see Ophelia's bum. It also has an all-new CD soundtrack, but what's most impressive is the addition of a map screen and loads, and I do mean loads, of new levels. Twice as many as any other version. So what we have here is a version that looks and plays great just like the Mega Drive, but now with twice the content. Another good port, but this time on a Nintendo console. This is the Super Nintendo version. Core have really gone to town on the colour used within this port, making it look even more vibrant than the Mega Drive version. They've also boosted up the sound effects too, although these may get annoying after a while. Playability wise, it's good, however I do feel it plays a little too fast. I'm also sad to see the crapping dino being censored just like he was in the Sega ports. Still, at least he is there, unlike the Atari ST version. Okay, it's time to check out the 8-bit port, starting with the Master System. This version was ported by one man, it would seem. That man is Gary Priest. And what a great job he has done. Most of what was in the original game is still here. Yes, sure, the background graphics layer is now missing and that the music is absent during gameplay, but you have to be impressed by how smooth it runs. There are some omissions though, such as the lake walking dinos now being water jets. Seems strange, and at first play I thought they were an enemy. Gary Peace was also the man behind the Game Gear port. It makes sense since this looks and plays just like the Master System, but now with a more restricted and zoomed in view. It also has a few unique stages too. Game Boy port seems to have been developed in-house by Core. It's a much more cut-down version to that found on the Master System, with so many enemies missing and objects too, including life. It's also a little tricky to see what you can and cannot pick up. Still, for what it is, you can get some entertainment out of this game. Now remember when we covered the Mega Drive ports I said, we'll take a rest from the computer ports for now? Well, that's because there was actually an 8-bit home computer port of Chuck Rock on the Commodore 64. This port was handled by Genius and they've done a reasonable job. We've got colourful backgrounds, nice sound effects and good gameplay. We've even got the band title screen. Now that's cool. And let's take a look at all those versions of Chuck Rock running side by side. So we'll take a rest from the computers for now and move on to the consoles, starting with the Mega Drive. Core were always at home on Sega's platforms, so it's nice to see that this is the best version of Chuck Rock so far. Sadly the intro has gone, which is to be expected on a cartridge game. However, that's not really an issue, because in return we get a great looking game full of colour and parallax scrolling. We also get some great music and sound effects at the same time, plus a jump button! This makes the game so much easier to play. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics to make Core have also tweaked the attacking commandos. Bloody hell. Core have also tweaked the attacking can't say this one. This makes the game so much easier to play. Core have also tweaked bloody hell. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics. Shit. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics. I'll do it. Core have also tweaked the attack. I'm going to do it now. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics to make the game. That's terrible. Core have also tweaked the attacking mechanics to make the game feel silky smooth. Hey, alright. Talking of which, the transition from area to area now is also really smooth. No more loading in new areas. Good stuff. Bloody hell, that was a bastard to do.